I filmed this entire video 2 days ago, 34 minutes, it was 10 in the evening at night, and it didn't come out as I wanted it to be. One, I don't want to give something that is mediocre just because I need to publish something for you guys. I want to give quality, I want to give massive information, and I want to be authentic as I do it. And so we had to retake it when we had the energy in the right headspace and the energy was on point. And today is that day. How are you, my darlings? Happy New Year. We haven't seen each other since the year started, and here we are. I hope your year is looking fantastic, and I hope you are going to get the best out of this year. Today, we are going to talk about one of the topics that I hold dear, and especially for this year. This year, we said we are standing on business. We are not slacking by, we are not sleeping on any opportunity, and we are not sleeping on ourselves either, and we are not giving any excuses. Why is it so hard for us to embrace change and pursue it, even though what we want is change? We will be talking about what causes us not to pursue change, even though that is what we want, and what we are going to do in order for us to change. Have you ever asked yourself, the many times you've wanted to change any facet of your life, what is it that makes you not achieve that? What makes you not get? What makes you not have that change? What makes you not see that change that you want manifest in your reality, manifest in your life? Is it that you are incompetent, or is it that you are just scared of the success that is going to come out of it? Is it that you are incompetent, or is it that you are scared of the power that you hold within yourself? Today, we are going to talk about that in a more deeper level. To start with, according to BBC, 16 to 45% of people abandon their New Year goals by end of January, with most people ditching their goals by the middle of the year. And the personal question here is, where do you lie on? Are you the people that ditch their goals by the end of January, or you are the people that pull through up to the middle of the year and then you end up ditching your goals? We are going to beat that resistance today. This year, we have to make it happen. To start with, most of the times, what causes us to have that resistance and not to work towards what we want so that we can have the change, it's because of false hope syndrome. And what is this exactly? This is whereby one goes from misplaced optimism to hard frustrations with unachievable goals. So you start with these high spirits and you're all in, and that is the energy when the year is starting. Right now, talk to everybody. They are on their games. They are on their goals. They know what they want, and they're doing what they need to be doing so that they can see it come to be. But is it really going to sustain them? Are the habits, are the systems, is the plan sustainable for the long run? Whether we like it or not, we are creatures of habit. And most of the times, we feel comfortable and secure in doing things the way we've always done them. And so, when you are starting a new routine, it immediately sends a signal to your body and your mind that that is not safe. We don't like the feeling. No. This is not what we know we normally feel. It's not how we do things. This doesn't feel as secure. We are not as comfortable. And so we end up building that resistance towards that change. For instance, you want to change your job, or you even want to move cities. You are going to feel uncomfortable even if you know this change is for the better. However, we have to adjust and realize that nothing changes if nothing changes. Welcome to Miss on a Mission, and if you are new here, my name is Rhoda. If you are a returning subscriber, thank you so much. I hope you're going to grab something from this video. If you are new, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell so that every time we upload a new masterpiece, you're not going to miss. Let's talk about some of the reasons behind resistance to change. And the very obvious one is fear of the unknown. I mean, who likes change? You don't know what's on the other side, and you're scared what you're going to find there. And this is one of the primary reasons we find it difficult to embrace change. Familiarity brings a sense of comfortability and security, and thus creating a barrier when we want to embrace something that is beyond what we know. On the other hand, change signifies a sense of uncertainty and risk. And that is why we are so resistant to embrace change at all costs, even though we know we are doing it for the better. Another reason that causes resistance towards change is cognitive dissonance. I like to call it our belief systems. And this is whereby we hold conflicting beliefs and attitudes because the new different approaches creates a sense of discomfort and ends up causing an internal conflict. It's a battle. This is not how things are done from what you've known for the longest time. So where do you even start? How do you even start pursuing this, which is very new and feels very insecure, very uncomfortable and risky? The only solution to deal with your belief systems is to provide a clear and compelling evidence, data, and examples that demonstrate the effectiveness and the benefits of this new approach. I am going to explain deeper about this when we start talking about the solutions. The next thing that causes us to have resistance towards change is our habitual patterns. Whether we like it or not, my darlings, human beings are habitual creatures. We are wired to follow familiar patterns, routines, and habits that when we start embracing change, it is very hard to break from the patterns that we know. And in order for us to break from these habitual patterns, one requires a conscious effort to create new routines and reinforcing them through being consistent. And how do you become consistent? So that the plan towards the new goal is going to hold you accountable. It's going to hold you in place. You're going to be on the right path even when you don't have motivation. Motivation doesn't sustain you for the long run. To be consistent, you need to have a supportive environment. You need to use things like reminders, journals, and accountability systems to make it easier for you to adopt the new ways of doing things. The other reason that makes us being resistant towards change is our emotional attachment. Over the long run, we have formed practices and routines, and there is an emotional attachment surrounding that. These attachments might have been formed either from past experiences, personal investments, our ways of growing up, how we were brought up, or emotional ties to status quo. And in order to deal with emotional attachment towards change, one has to create an environment that fosters emotional trust as well as psychological safety. What are the possible solutions that we can start implementing so that we can beat this resistance and start pursuing change for good? The first thing you need to do is to identify and define change for yourself. Forget about what everybody says about what change is and what you need to change. I want you to take a pen and a paper and define what is change to you as an individual and where or what do you want to change in your life. For instance, maybe change for you is a safety issue, or it's an energy drain, or it's a risk and uncomfortable, etc., etc. And once you define what change is to you, then go ahead and write down, what do you want to change? What is it that you want to change in your life? What change do you want to pursue in your life? Maybe it's your lifestyle, your entire lifestyle. Maybe it's your financial well-being, whatever. Go ahead and define it. Write it down and be overly specific and honest with yourself. And then I want you to visualize it. I want you to start seeing yourself as that person, or having have achieved that which you want to achieve. I want you to make it visible in your mind before you can even start on the actual process. And this process is going to prepare your mind for what's coming. Make your goal, make it very visible in your mind, and constantly visualize it. That prepares your mind and gets it ready for the work. Once you do that, the next thing I want you to do is to change your mindset. What are your belief systems? Be brutally honest. For instance, you believe it's hard to make money. Money can only come your way. Money can only be made through hardship, through hard work. Or maybe it's in our entire family, we struggle with body image. We are addicts in our family, so it's hard for you to pursue a life of sobriety. Or maybe it's we always get into abusive relationships. Whatever that is, I want you to be honest with yourself. Once you do that, I want you to write every possible thing that is opposite of whatever you said. Make everything very visible and realistic. Don't put pressure and things that are unrealistic in your list. And now when you start the process, it's hard and you're thinking my video was a fraud or you are a fraud and you start beating yourself down. I don't want you to do that. I want you to be very realistic. For instance, your goal is to attain a certain body weight. For instance, you are 76 kgs. You cannot set your goal to be 52 kgs by the end of January. You're going to kill yourself and you are just lying to yourself. Be realistic. By end of January, maybe 3 or 5 kgs are going to be down. Be very real with yourself. Then you're going to create systems that are going to enable you throughout the process so that you can build the habits. The next thing I want you to be aware of is, what are your triggers? Maybe it's your environment. Maybe it's the circle that you keep. Maybe it's your gadgets. I talked about this in my previous video. You need to go and watch that video because trust me, it's a tiny masterpiece that is hidden by the algorithm. Start identifying them one after the other. And then, because identifying them alone is not going to be the solution, we need something that is going to carry us long term. You are going to create habits, sustainable ones that are going to replace those triggers. If it's your environment, for instance, change the environment if you can. If it's your circle, you don't have to cut them off at all in the start. You can reduce your time with them. If it's your gadgets, switch them off, put them on D&D, whatever you need to do. Imagine you only had 1 year to get everything right, and this year is that year. What would you do to make it happen? Are you going to sleep on yourself because you're scared of what people are going to say? Or are you going to take a chance and actually concentrate on you? The decision is yours. The next thing, after knowing your triggers, I want you to redefine discomfort. Not what everybody else is saying, not even myself. I want you to redefine discomfort for yourself. What does discomfort mean to you? What is the weight that discomfort holds in your life? And then your definition of discomfort is going to help you push past for you to become comfortable. And I want you to remember, discomfort will not last long, but it's inevitable that in the starting of a new routine and new practices and a new journey, you're going to encounter discomfort. It's part of the journey. It's part of the process. But with time, after building the habits, it's going to become part of you. It's going to become part of your routine. So you're going to be comfortable in your new way of doing things. After you redefine what discomfort is, I want you to go past yourself, your feelings, and your emotions and show up consistently. Consistency is the key. Why are you starting today and after 1 week putting a timeline and you're not showing up consistently and repetitively? It's not going to change anything. So you need to show up consistently and repetitively and teach yourself, your mind, that you are safe, you are secure, you are comfortable in your new practices. That is how you're going to build the habits. You don't have to start working out 30 minutes every single day. You can start working out 10 minutes every day, or 10 minutes 3 times in a week. Start slowly, but be consistent. Show up every time you have promised yourself that you will show up. Because every time you decide you're not going to take a step towards fulfilling your full potential, you are betraying yourself. 10, 5, 3 years to come, you're going to be very guilty and resentful towards yourself because you didn't do what you promised yourself to do, what you knew you were supposed to do. It is in this step that motivation dies and gets buried, and discipline outshines it. Discipline shines brighter than motivation in this step. Consistency and showing up repeatedly is what discipline looks like. The next thing that you need to do, and this is something I have taught myself in the hardest way I could, it's to practice radical acceptance. And what does radical acceptance mean? Radical acceptance means fully accepting your reality as it is, or things as they are, and letting go of any excuse, bitterness, anger, resentment, or anything really. Accepting things as they are. Just that. That is radical acceptance. No excuses, no blame game, no resentful, no nothing. You just accept, this is my life now, this is where I am, and this is my situation. And what is the importance of radical acceptance? And I want you to start teaching yourself this about everything in your life. Not all the times, but sometimes. Sometimes. I said sometimes. The keyword is sometimes. I want you to learn to understand and know when to apply it in situations that you encounter. What is the importance of practicing radical acceptance? In this case, while trying to embrace change, you're going to realize that the energy centered around the uncomfortability / the negative emotions, and this is going to enable you to plan proactively and show up consistently. Because when you radically accept things, there is nothing else that is attached to that situation. Things are just the way they are at that moment. And so it is easy for us to realize the kind of energy that is surrounding that situation. You're also going to realize the kind of emotions that are centered in that specific situation. And that way, because you do not have any judgment, any bitterness, any resentment, you are going to decide to show up repeatedly and plan proactively with the help of your systems. Last but not least is to be disciplined and consistent. These are inseparable. That's how I personally view them. You cannot separate one from the other. You cannot be disciplined and you're not showing up consistently. You cannot be consistent and you're not disciplined. And the importance of consistency and discipline is to help you to stay in the right track, because you already have a plan and there are systems that are helping you pursue your goals, pursue change, and you're also being able to navigate through the uncomfortability. This year, the last thing you want to do is to play about yourself and with yourself. And that marks the end of the video, guys. Thanks for being with me up to this point. I want to say this though. You deserve to love you. You deserve to be responsible with and for you. And that means you need to be accountable for you. Break the habit, break the cycle, and make change. Until the next video, guys, go out, be the best versions of yourselves yet, and take care of yourselves.